Ground Radio. New voices amplified.
So greetings and welcome to the New Voices Amplified. My name is Mhako, and this is the platform where we get to speak to different creatives and people that are working within the creative and the arts industry in Zimbabwe and also within the diaspora. And today we have an esteemed guest, one who doesn't need an introduction. For the greater part of this year, he has been a center of the conversation. He has made some moves that have sort of disrupted the industry in a major way. I'm talking about none other than TeeMak. TeeMak, greetings and welcome to Ground.
Greetings, brother, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Great. Are you usually that soft-spoken? Is that your personality?
Yeah, I mean, by default, I'm like this. I spend a lot of time in meditation and so on and so forth. So that probably is why I'm always on the law. Just calm.
Great. Yeah, because I'm asking this because you, from what you post on Facebook, it's almost like a contrast. You have a very bold, more candid approach when it comes to your social media engagement. But we'll get straight to that later on. I wanted to just text talk. It's been almost 4 months since you signed Enzo Ishall. How has been the journey so far? Are you happy with what has transpired as yet?
Well, I must say the past 4 months have been very insightful because I got to learn a lot of things in relation to how the Zim arts industry is operating. So that has been quite eye-opening, and also through the interaction of other parties that we've been engaging in the process of pushing the brand Enzo. I think it's quite insightful to see how things are done from people on this side, right? But am I happy? Well, being happy is very extreme measure, but I am content. I am content with what we have done, but I also want to acknowledge that it's not enough, and it's probably very far from where we want to be. But I am glad and grateful that we have been able to make enough progress for us to make an impact and for people to understand the vision that we carry.
And I'm going to talk a bit later about some of the things that you've experienced. But in terms of that vision, in terms of the goal that you have, what's that vision? What's that goal? What do you aim to achieve? Is it just around Enzo Ishall, or are you looking beyond? And if you're looking beyond, what picture do you see?
Well, in relation to that, definitely it's beyond me, that's first, and it's beyond the people that I'm working with. I want to believe that the vision that I carry is one of bringing our country, Zimbabwe, to the world stage, right? Yes. And that's in the arts industry specifically. Right. I also have other visions in relation to other projects that I'm doing, not related to the arts industry specifically, but let's just delve into the arts for now. So what we're working on right now is it's basically a process whereby we connect our artists to the world platforms, right? And then through that process of engaging them to the other platforms, the world stage, through that process, we would then be able to create more value for our artists. And the moment we generate, or rather create value for a specific person or a brand, that value, right, would then start to create more opportunities for the artist, for working with the artist, and most importantly, for the country, because then that brand becomes a representative of our nation, and then that brand becomes the link between the other artists that wish to be on that level as well. So that's where I'm going with this. And I want to believe that it's something that is definitely going to happen, because I have been blessed enough to be able to make things happen. That much I can say. So I want to believe that we're on the right track and we would definitely make it.
Great. But do you think Zimbabwe is ready from your experience so far? Do you think there's players in the creative industry are ready for this kind of vision?
From the conversations I've had with many of the key players in the industry, what I've come to understand is that deep down, all of us, we want to progress. Deep
Yes.
down. All of us yearn for a better entertainment industry, an entertainment industry that actually feeds these artists and these creatives that are working on all of this, right? We all yearn for that. So I've come to understand that through the conversations I've had with different people. However, in terms of being proactive and
Yes.
engage in necessary mindset that is needed to get to that level,
Yes.
we haven't started taking steps towards I want that we want to make progress,
Yes.
right? And we all really want it because we know what it means for us and what difference it would cause to our lives. However, in the mindset, there's still so many things that I see from my point of view that are not probably the best ideologies to subscribe. That is my opinion.
Wow, quite interesting there. But what are some of what's the biggest shock or surprise that you've encountered so far?
The biggest shock that I have encountered is what I was warned before, because the plans that I'm taking action on now, these are plans that I made when I was 18 years old, when I was 19, long time ago, about, a few years ago, right? So my plan was to come to Zimbabwe at some point
Yes.
and disrupt the industry and then cause a movement that eventually and essentially impacts the people. But as much as I have good intentions in my heart, in my mind, and all that, the current structure we have, what I've been understanding is that some people have an inferiority complex.
Yes.
So, if not most people, if not all of us, me included, right? So this inferiority complex is coming into play, and it then causes people to want to sabotage the next person in defense to themselves. So now we then start to concentrate on self-defense and attacking each other than actually making progress, right? So this is something I was pre-warned about, that the people here are quite vindictive.
Yes.
But when I look at it from I want to see and I want to believe that essentially, regardless of the resistance
Yes.
that I'm facing in the process of making all of these things happen, I believe that these artists and everybody else involved, eventually they will get it. And when we get it, we will all work together as a team, and we will actually make faster, and will actually accelerate how quick we can move and how much we can get done.
Wow, quite interesting that you talk about collaboration, you talk about working together as a team. But from the conversation that I've picked, there is a growing impression that you want to walk this alone, that you have so much faith in your money to the extent that you believe that you can actually do this alone, contrary to maybe what you say in terms of uniting and working together. What's your response to that?
Okay, I have faith in myself. That's first. And I have faith that, the things that I visualize and the necessary trainings I've gone through all these years to create the person I am today, I believe in that, right? Resources come and go. You get what I mean? Today you could have $1 million, tomorrow you might not have it.
True.
That is just how life is. So that's what I believe in. I believe in bigger vision. And because I've spent so much time visualizing about that, I will not let anything stop me from making that happen. So potentially that's where people start to perceive that, oh, he is quite conceited, or he thinks he can do it alone. But pragmatically, and in practicality,
Yes.
collaborations are the key, and all the work we have done so far, we have been engaging so many other parties. You know, we have so many partners in terms of people that do certain things, because I believe in specialization.
Yes.
So I always push to engage the best person in that field, right?
Great. Great.
and and then those people using their skill sets will help me, or rather us, to accomplish the vision. So it is rather naive for me to ever perceive or contemplate the possibility of me walking this journey alone, because to be frank, I'm just a hub, but at the end of the day, there's so many people behind this.
Yes.
We had Enzo Ishall's birthday concert. I
Yeah.
think we had about 10 to 20 people working on that project just to make it happen. It's not me. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And all of that, I couldn't have done it by myself without the ability to spot the right collaboration. Very important.
Interestingly, you mentioned the birthday bash, and congratulations. I think you
Thank
have
you.
set a trend. You have, created an impression that, or a standard, set a standard that we are not so much accustomed to. And I think that's really commendable. But do you feel that you got what you wanted for that event? Did you achieve your set goals?
Yes, we did accomplish what we wanted, and I'm very grateful that we did, because at this stage I have more people that want me to fail than succeed.
Yes.
It's evident because people say it. So I'm not just contemplating or stipulating this. But we got what we wanted, and what we wanted was to introduce a new way of doing things, a new standard, a standard that if someone from America or someone from Nigeria or someone from South
Yes.
Africa, if they were to watch, they would be like, "Oh, this is good work. This is really good quality work. People have spent time, resources, and skills to make this happen, and this is a product that we are interested in working with." Or this is a brand, rather, we're interested in working with. And then that's what opens the gateway. So that was the goal of that,
Fantastic.
to just show people that this is what we can do,
Mhm.
right? And then we move from there, and then we continue to do even greater things.
Oh, quite interesting there. I've Nchenchule T is asking what happened. You guys streamed the video at the performance on Facebook, and the next thing it was not there. He was asking what was the idea behind it. Was it deliberate? What could have happened from your end?
99.9% of the things that we do are very deliberate, if not
Awesome.
100%.
Mhm.
Uh, because there's a plan that has been made, that I made as well, together with the people that I work with, and that's the plan that we're following. So in relation to that, we understood the impact that performance had in
Yes.
terms of the arts industry. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we put it on the right platform and we get what we want from it. Because you have to keep in mind, that's an investment. That whole
Yes.
production is a big investment.
Course
Okay.
nothing.
Yes. So we wanted to make sure that we can capitalize on this content in a way that it brings back value to us. Now, the value we're looking for is not necessarily monetary value, but it's value in the essence of creating a platform for further moving forward.
Okay. Okay.
So that was the intention behind the move, and we will be streaming it tonight on his
Oh,
YouTube channel. And there's also another platform that we're going to stream it from for the sake of the plans that we have.
wow, quite interesting there. And then just soon after, you guys made an announcement that we're not part of the Nash event. Could you just shed a bit of more light on that? What happened for you guys to withdraw? I understand that levels had engaged you and you had consented to being part of the event, but apparently on the 11th hour you decided to pull out?
Well, I would like to believe that my standard of how we operate is rather different. Our SOPs basically are different. I was contacted at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, not Monday, by Levels, and he called me, then I was occupied, then he sent a message. In his message, he was requesting for Enzo to perform. And my first and immediate response was, sure. Why? Most of the songs that Enzo has, they were produced by Levels. And
Yes.
he's a person that personally see, for example, for the next collaboration that Enzo is going to do, because he already went to Tanzania and he finished the collaboration, and that was done. We have the project. We will release it when the time is right. So my point was just very simple. Yeah.
Okay, great. And but you didn't respond to not fulfilling, like what prompted?
Okay. Yes. So sorry about that. So what happened was, so he calls me, right, and then he tells me, okay, you want Enzo to come? So I say yes because obviously I feel like we
You
all
feel obliged?
yes,
Okay.
and I don't. There's no way that I'll stop Enzo from going back there to work with them, because we need their help. It's collaboration. These guys, Levels specifically, understand Enzo's sound to the extent that the next collaboration we're doing, right, we will basically even engage him to help us to produce with whoever artist he's gonna work with. You get what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, what happened was I only event. I said, sure, he can perform if he wanted to. And then what he did is he just screenshotted that part of me showing interest in working with them, but then he didn't show you guys the rest of it.
Okay.
Right after that, I told him what time is the event and when is it, right? And then I then went on to send him a voice note, and I explained to him, we already have a live session for Enzo. Enzo is occupied. He's rehearsing and he has a lot of things to do. You can't just immediately expect us to cancel all our plans just because we want to accommodate you, right?
Okay.
And then, you know what was the craziest part? Level sent me a message at 5, and by 6:18 p.m. he had already sent a flyer with Enzo without my confirmation.
Okay, I understand you.
So it obviously means that the flyer was made before they even approached me. You understand?
Yeah.
And I mean, we just can't operate like that. There's a standard of procedure. We need to make agreements, the papers to sign. We're not just going to release our artist without knowing, the whole rundown. But I guess because the way we work is rather different, and our ideologies and our mindsets are rather different. So I understand, right? At the end of the day, we resolved it with Nash. I spoke to him, and we came to an agreement, and we actually have projects that we're working on together. And in fact, the other platform I was referring to is Nash TV. That's where we're also going to push it, Enzo's performance. We're also going to push it there today. Yeah.
Awesome. But
so basically, it was just a miscommunication. That's about it. And a misinterpretation of interest.
Yeah.
And I showed interest in the event.
Yes.
But he took it as of our appearance, and that's about it. But no bad blood. These are guys we work together, and I want to work with even more because we still need the support to get to where we want to get.
Great. Do you feel, before I move to the next question, do you feel misunderstood?
I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to really determine how I feel in relation to that. But ultimately, what I can say is that I understood what caused it, and I know that neither parties had malicious intent in their actions.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that probably the mode of communication and so on and so forth was rather corrupted somehow. and I'm not even the one responsible for the bookings anyway. He was supposed to go to somebody else. But anyway, that's a long story for another day.
Okay, great. And you as a management company, as a promotions company, you have signed Enzo, and you indicated that you might be signing more artists by June. Is that still on course? Are we still expecting more signings to happen? What's the plan?
In relation to partnering with more talent that I want to invest in and push forward, we already have one more artist who is already everything is already done. We will just announce it at the right time.
Okay.
And then in June as well, we will probably take one more artist, and then that's probably about it until December, because we have timelines of operations, and we have different projects for the timelines. So that is the timeline we have so far. And with the timeline and the resources available, it is clear that we can only probably sustainably work with 3 artists at most right now until further notice.
Okay, interesting. And you make some Facebook posts that give certain impressions, and I don't know if you interpret it well, but you have posted ability extension, and everybody was thinking, oh, you're actually making efforts to sign Natty O. And you have also spoken a bit about Kina, and somebody was actually asking if you are noticing Kina, and if you're interested in Kina, and if you see the talent that he has, and if he's within your radar. And yeah, what's your response to that?
Okay, well, I think people need to understand that before all of this, I was just a musician, right? I got into music when I was 15. I was a recording artist from the time I was like 15 to 19, right? Before I ventured into business. So default, I appreciate good music. I appreciate art, I appreciate how people write their songs. So I listen to a lot of music. And when I see somebody who is doing really well, I want to use my platform to support them in the way that I can by probably, putting them there on the spotlight and mentioning them. But again, this is the misconception that we are having a lot, and that is really going on around. People should not equate appreciation for engagement. It's similar to what happened for the performance that they wanted us to do, right? The other party confused interest in the project,
yes,
as our preference to engage.
Okay,
Is the same thing that's happening. So I'm just appreciating this artist, but in terms of engaging an artist, it's a criteria that is very vast. Just doesn't go and perform there and release a good song and then that's it. You want to work with the person. It's a lot, because you don't work with the talent. You work with the person's personality, right? So there's so many other factors in relation to signing a person that it's not something I'll just rush into, But in terms of supporting people and sponsoring people's projects, that I'll be hands on. We've already engaged quite a number of artists. We did sponsor the Stana video that he dropped, Sugar Daddy.
Yes.
We sponsored another video that is to drop, Rescue Wakatemba. We sponsored quite a number of them, right? It's not much, right? But we're using whatever resources we have to just make the impact and appreciate people. That's the best we can do at an earlier stage. Then if from that stage we develop a deeper relationship and we see the potential in value, we see the potential in growing as a brand and growing as individuals and entities as well, then we can engage on a deeper level. Because Enzo and I have been friends for almost 2 years now. The plans that we executed now, these are plans from last year. We just couldn't do them last year. You get what I mean? So it's like it's a long journey that has led to this, and people just see this and they think that we're just trying to sign everybody. No, we want to support the arts industry. We will only single-handedly pick certain artists to sign and work with them on a very deep level.
Okay, great. And would you want to respond? Just the day after Enzo's birthday, or on Enzo's birthday, we saw a birthday message coming from Sekalas. But in addition to that birthday message, he encouraged Enzo Ishall to seek independence. And you had made a couple of responses to that. But what's your official response to that? To be signed, to be independent or be signed? What would you want to say in response to that, but also to new artists that are out there? Because I think there's also a bit of misunderstanding, misconception with regard to, is it ideal to get signed? Is it not ideal to get signed? And what does it mean to get signed?
Okay. No direct response to the entity mentioned, but a direct response to the topic at hand.
Okay.
Which is to be signed or not to be signed.
Yes.
Right? So it really just depends with the nature of deal at hand, right? So
Yes.
there are people that you can actually sign with, and then actually nothing comes out of it. And we've had many of those scenarios in Zimbabwe, right? So what's important is to find the right people to work with. If you're an artist and you wish to grow your brand, it's important that you find someone who understands your vision. That's one. Then the vision, are they willing to invest all resources or as many as possible or as much as possible as they can into that vision? And if they are, then that's the basis of your engagement. And on the basis of your engagement, you wanna structure a platform that helps you to just focus on one thing, which is creating the music and being an artist. And then the rest, let somebody else take care of it. You know, Enzo didn't have to, for example, a good example of why working with people, why collaborating with the right person that understands your vision, right, is a good thing. Enzo did, for example, for the concert we had, he didn't really have to think about anything. All he had to do was just show up and perform.
Okay,
and then after that, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And now, what does this do for the art? What it does is it allows the artist to focus on the art. And then the artist can then start to come up with better ideas. You know, they can start to explore their musical capacity, their creative side to a deeper degree, because everything else is being taken care of by another, by a group of people or by another entity. You know, so that's my point of view. It's important to have a team that is supporting your vision. So whether it's a team that signed you or they're just doing it because they're doing it for whatever reason, which normally doesn't work out because we have seen scenarios where that didn't work out.
Yes.
But it's important to just engage with the people that will support your vision and have a team that takes care of whatever that needs to be taken care of. If it's media, if it's social media, if it's bookings, if it's this, there's a need for a team for that. That way, the artist can just focus on creating for themselves. But people think that having one of them, by all means, let them proceed with that. How the discrepancy will show in no time. The discrepancy between an artist that has a team behind him and an artist without a team behind them will clearly be obvious in a few months. It just shows. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, people have to decide for themselves which path they want to take.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Great. Before I go to, I want to ask about the One House reality show. But before that, I wanted to just touch on another issue that has created also a bit of interest today. It's with regard to sentiments that were made by Ray Vines. And you also took part in the conversation. I don't know whether it was directly connected or not, but you had posed a question whether wisdom or folly, and you said you are with Ray Vine, but you had follow-up posts that are also supported, that were very much in support of what Winky D has done for the industry. But some have interpreted your position in other comments as if you are disrespecting Winky D. There was a reference to a particular song, Chandelier. I think there was a comment that you made that the song that was sort of bootlegged from another song. And I saw internet getting a buzz, a lot of emotions, people catching feelings. Would you want to respond to that? If not, what's your sentiment with regard to Winky D's contribution towards the music industry as well?
Okay, so my point of view, very simple. I will respond to that because I mean it's not really a big deal. What I want to think about is number one, Winky D has been okay. I've interacted with Winky D to some extent. Okay, I first met him when I was 14 years old in August in Malaysia when he was brought there by Nyaks, Tendai Nyaks of Ethnic
Yes.
Inc. The same guys who are doing Flame Lily Media, the guys who did the video for Mwenje, right?
Okay.
He's actually like he's my older brother in terms of the entertainment industry because he's the one that set the blueprint for me for all these years, right? So that's when I first met Winky D, and that's when we spoke about when he started making music and how long he had been around, and he goes back to the early 2000s, and he's been there for a long time and he's an artist. That's the first thing that I want to acknowledge. In terms of his contribution, it's something that it's difficult to really determine because of the nature of his character. He's very private and he doesn't talk about a lot of stuff. So you might find that there's a possibility that he actually helped 15 artists right now that are actually banging, but he never mentioned it, right? So I can't directly go and say that he didn't contribute, right? Because I really have no proof, right? Because maybe he's doing it in private. How do we know?
Yeah.
But to the extent on the other side, right? On the other side, I want to stand with what Ray said in the essence that in practicality, right?
Yes.
If we look at numbers, the only people that I really know that have helped a number of artists that I can actually track is Chillspot, that have actively invested in artists and helping other people to grow, right? There are other people, of course, there's Military Touch and so on and so forth, but the ones that I really know and I have seen a lot of results from is these guys from Chillspot, and that's why I have a lot of respect for them, right? So for Winky D, I think he's doing what he's doing, and we also have to consider the fact that maybe he doesn't want to do that, or maybe he doesn't have to because he's not obliged to. Maybe he just wants to be an artist, So it's really like a difficult conversation to have on whether or not he has done it. But all I can confirm from my point of view is he's an amazing artist, and he's a person I've worked with before to some extent, and is a person I will work with in the future. And what Ray did there, I think what I want to take from it is the considered as foolishness and lack of wisdom and ignorance by some people, but I think it is important to the extent that he's speaking his truth, and whether it's true or not, that's for you to determine. But he's speaking his truth, and I want people in this industry to speak the why, because there's so many mediocre things that we are agreeing to. The quality of our mixing and mastering, the quality of our videos, the quality of performances, the quality of what we deliver. All of these things are actually not at par, because if they were, then our industry would be further up there, but it's not. And the reason is because we are subscribing to mediocre content and mediocre work, and we praise the wrong things, and no one dares to say a thing. And here comes him saying whatever he's saying, whether it's true or not, I'm not going to delve into that. But I think it's a positive step towards the right direction, right? Despite how people feel about it. But we should be more proactive and talk about these things so that we can fix it. If we just keep in the law, then I mean, if we just keep it on the law, then we're probably never going to fix it, and we're just going to be the same 10 years later.
Do you feel there's a fear reigns in the music and showbiz scene in Zimbabwe? Do you feel people are scared to talk?
Yes, a lot. And you know why people are scared to talk? Because they have a lot to lose. They have a lot to lose because they still favors from those people. They still need their resources. So they won't tell them like, hey, this is absolutely crap. This is not a good product. Do not do this. Nobody will say that. Because you know what? If you say that, you get crucified. And when you get crucified, then you know what happens after that, right? So
Yeah.
people. The problem is that people now training from expressing things that need to be changed, and that change is never going to come if we don't advocate for it. We need someone to push and say, guys, this is not the right standard of work, and we should not tolerate this. And if somebody puts out a product like this, then we should help them as our brother and tell them, like, yo, this is not the way to do it. There's potentially another way to do it. I understand you're doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G correct, but this one particular thing, you need to change it. It's good for you.
And does TeeMak take the same advice if somebody speaks to him and says this has not gone well or this is not right? Is he also the kind of person who takes heed to constructive criticism?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to believe that, I'm open to listening to what everyone has to say. I'm open enough. It's fine. You want to say something to me? Say. I'll listen to you. Now, whether or not I will subscribe to what you're saying is determined on a few factors.
Yes.
Number one, what position are you in to try to help me to get to the next level? What have you done for yourself? Have you yourself applied those principles in your life and you got results? And if you did, then I will religiously and blindly follow your advice. But if a person is going to come and try to give me constructive criticism, but all they're doing is they're sitting at home and they have no contribution to what I'm doing, then I don't think it's really constructive, because what are you constructing? You're not even part of the construction, So I would take, I listen, right? Because
Yes.
a wise man wants nothing, so I will listen. But whether or not I will actually subscribe to those ideologies, it really depends on who is telling me. But sometimes I do have moments whereby a person from out of the blue, just an ordinary person, comes and says something very insightful, and I can see how much it means to me and how much progress it will help me if I subscribe to that. Then I will take action on that, regardless of whether they have done it for themselves or not. It's okay, that's up to them. But if I really see that I need this in my time of introspection and meditation, then I will immediately and instantly subscribe to it. And the next day you see me taking action on those steps.
Quite interesting there. And then moving to the big house, to the One House reality show. Last week, if not two, you launched the website. And how is it gone so far? What's the future? Is it progressing well? And what's the next step?
Okay. With One House Zimbabwe, it's a long-term vision. Excuse me. It's a long-term vision that I see growing into something much bigger, right? So we did launch last week, and on the first day we launched it, the website, within about 10 minutes or so, the website crashed already, because we had a lot of traffic, up to almost 40,000 visitors in the first 10 minutes. This just showed the interest level in this project from the people, from the Zimbabweans, right? People are hungry, people are ready for this. So we launched it, and that went well. And what we're doing now, since we are still in the preparation period, we're still building the place where we're going to air the show and so on and so forth. There are so many other arrangements that are being done. So in the meanwhile, what we're doing is we're going to be pushing a lot of projects, a lot of interactive projects with the people in relation to One House. And one of the first was Enzo's online birthday concert that we had. That is all powered one house. And then we have more events that are coming up. We have another event next week, and so on and so forth. And beyond the lockdown, we will still have events powered by one house, because we are building the awareness, and we are also in the process of showing people the quality we can produce. You know, or if we can produce a good quality product on something like this, then you best believe that the show itself will be high, and we would deliver and people will take time. So it's a good project, and I'm happy, and I want to give a big thank you to Boda TV. They're partnering with us. Styles Entertainment, a very important anchor in my journey as TeeMak Promotions as well, because he comes up with a lot of ideas, and he helps me a lot in so many ways that people can never comprehend. So yeah, those are the people we're working with now, and we have other entities we are of course engaging. But right now, I'm optimistic of the progress. We have a lot of applications, and it's amazing. I really want to like thank God for that, because it's nice to see the dream come true. You know.
Wow, that's great, and congratulations on that. Talking about the quality and standard of work, is what we saw Enzo display at the birthday bash. Is that the new norm? Is that what we're going to see from Enzo Ishall, or we're going to go back to the old after this?
We're in the process of making sure that we can sustain that and surpass it.
Okay.
So, of course, when you're working with different people, like I mentioned, before you can form a long-term relationship, there's so many other things that come into play. And that's where we're at right now in relation to pushing that. But I want to assure you that we will succeed in making sure that that is the norm from now on for Enzo Ishall's brand, number one, and going beyond that, we'll surpass it with so many other things that we potentially don't even know that we'll be able to do by that time.
Okay, great. And I know you have talked about this before, but people still have questions. We see you wearing white, and you've always been wearing white a lot of the times. Somebody is asking, Maggie from Bastop TV, and Clem Muchue is asking, Momo Muchuen is asking if you have any other colors in your wardrobe, or it's mainly white.
Okay. Well, I don't have any other clothes. My clothes are right there. I can see them. I don't have any clothes that are white anymore. I used to. In the past, I used to wear other colors as well, but I think from about late 2018 onwards, I had reached to a stage whereby it was now applicable for me to wear white, because I have all these goals for myself. At different times I should be doing different things, and interacting with different people from different places, all around the world. So I only have white clothes. That's the only way to wear white. Just have only white clothes, only buy white clothes, and it's simple.
Yes. Wow, great.
Yeah.
We have 3-4 minutes, and then we close up. I wanted to ask, currently, who's on your playlist apart from Enzo Ishall? Who else is on your playlist?
On my playlist now, I listen to Kina's old music.
Kina.
Some of his, I've been listening to his songs already for the past 2-3 weeks. In relation to Kina, I've been listening to his music for the past few weeks, and even from a long time ago. So I have him on my playlist. I also have Silent Killer on my playlist. I also have Ashley with Zinza on my playlist. And yeah, she's one of my favorites, all-time favorites, because her voice is, it's scintillating voice that is heavily, full of emotions. So I like her music too. It's quite a lot. I have a lot of Zim music on my playlist, and I look for new music as well occasionally. Yeah, and I also have Taku on my playlist. He's a talented kid, so I have him on playlist as well. And it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
And
yeah.
Any artist, young new artist who's fresh, who believes in themselves, believes in their craft, how can they get through to TeeMak Promotions? Is there a platform? Is there a way that they can reach out if they want to be considered for maybe future projects, future events, or signing or anything?
My level of openness now in relation to project basis engagement is quite high.
Okay.
the key point is project basis. So I want to believe that there's so many people we've been giving chances, even new people as well that have come with their work that we're pushing in the background. Some of them we're just supporting them, and then we never mention our name there. There are quite a few of them already that we're doing that with, because we just want to grow them in an organic way, and then at the right time we can just put the name on and engage them and then take off. So if anybody is trying to push their art, I am for pushing anything art and anything progressive. I'm up for that, projects and all that. I'm really up for that. So we want to give people a fair chance, but at the end of the day, we have to be realistic that not everybody will meet the bar, but we can try to do the best that we can, and really that's about it.
Wow, great. It's been awesome speaking to you. I know I would have wanted to ask more questions, but I know you're a busy man and I don't want to take much of your time. But my last question would be, if you were to change anything in the music and entertainment industry in Zimbabwe today, what would it be?
It's difficult. There's a lot of things to change. But there's also a lot of good things happening. I want to be frank about that.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the things that I would like to change the most is the level of professionalism that we have as an industry. Even I as TeeMak Promotions, is also something that we lack, and we are always trying to push. And we have different people telling us, okay, you got to fix here, you got to fix there, you got to fix there, and we're trying. But the level of professionalism is one of the reasons why really people are not being taken seriously, and that's why sometimes some of the work doesn't even go far, because it's not professionally done as well. So the level of professionalism, that's something definitely that we can pay attention to, and we should. And in terms of how to work, how to do things, the best part about the time we're living in is that most likely anything you want to do has been done already. So there is always a blueprint of success. Success leaves footprints. So it's very simple. We can just get the necessary training, or try to mimic, or rather not mimic, but rather try to subscribe to some of these attitudes that these people from the higher realms, from the other industries, are subscribing to, and then we can easily just get on that level as well. Of course it takes time, but absolutely that's something that I believe I need to work on as TeeMak Promotions, and all of us.
Yes.
That way we can really make a lot of things happen. And professionalism means paying attention to details. That's where we're missing it, the details.
Yes.
Have a good product, good vision, but in the end, we have what we call a failed vision, which means you still do what you wanted to do, but like what you asked me in the beginning, did you get to your goals when you're doing that project?
Yes.
You won't get to your goals if it's a failed vision. You still get the job done, but you don't get what you wanted, and that's because the detail orientation was not a lot.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. It's been great speaking to you. I learned so much from just conversing with you. I had a lot of misconceptions, and I still have one or two, but I think now I've been sort of more enlightened in terms of your vision, in terms of what you're doing, in terms of just the different issues that surround yourself as a person and the brand TeeMak Promotions. But I want to ask, are you arrogant?
Am I arrogant?
Yeah.
From my point of view, probably no. From other people's point of view, probably yes. Okay. Because yeah, it's I don't want to push this agenda way too much, yes. But I want to believe I'm open. I'm open to possibilities. I'm open to conversations, and I'm open to learning as well from all people, like I mentioned. As long as the message is good, I'm willing to take it as well. But of course, the person needs to be a physical embodiment of that as well. Yeah. So I want to think I'm okay. But if people want to think what they think, that's for them. I'm really just concentrating on the work, and let the work speak for me. Let
Yes.
the work speak for me, and I'll also speak for myself, and
Yeah.
I'll also work to make it a full package, and then that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, it's been great. And I really appreciate just the fact that I was able to ask you some of the things that under normal circumstances, for some, they would have been unsettled by those things, but you're really responding to almost everything, actually everything. And I really appreciate that. And thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you on Earground. I wish you the best on all the projects that you're working on, and I wish you the best with the artists that you're working with. And I also hope that as Zimbabwe, as the creative arts in Zimbabwe, will be able to benefit something from your contribution. I know you're based in Malaysia, but you're still coming back home to do projects, which at times is not as easy. I know it from my personal experience working back home and being away from home. It also takes a bit. So with that, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. To everybody who's been watching, thank you so much, guys. I saw your questions. I see your questions. I'm not able to read all of them, but I was able to read a couple of them and get some of your questions to TeeMak. And I really appreciate. Stay tuned on Earground, New Voices Amplified. Special thanks to TeeMak Promotions, Styles Promotions, and One House for making this interview possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And I want to wish everyone the very best. And I really hope, excuse me,
Yeah.
I really hope that one day we can understand that we can understand the power of numbers, we can understand the power of collaboration, and we can understand the power of supporting other people to rise.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of sabotaging belief. We still have a lot of sabotaging beliefs that we impose on other people when they attempt to make progress. And I really pray and work towards a Zimbabwe where all of us were united, understand that this is our country and it is our mission to get it out there and for other people to have respect for our nation, for our work, for our art, and everything that has to do with Zimbabwe. That is my prayer, and I want to believe, and I do believe, that we will make it, even though it will take time, but it will happen.
Great, great. It will take time, but it will definitely happen. And this is the generation. We're going to make it happen. Until next time, stay tuned. New Voices Amplified, Earground is the place to be.